available. Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. And by McDonald's, the official break of the NBA. Have you had your break today?
A festive atmosphere on the outside of America West Arena. And noisy on the inside. Here's a look at the starting lineup for the Charlotte Hornets. In the backcourt, 5'3" Muggsy Bogues, teamed with 6'3" Hawkins. Up front, Alonzo Mourning in the middle. He is flanked by Larry Johnson and Scott Burrell. The head coach for the Charlotte Hornets is Alan Briscoe at an even 500 for his career, 150 wins, 150 losses. For the homestanding Phoenix Suns, 41-13 in the Pacific Division leaders, Kevin Johnson and Wesley Person will start at the guards. In the middle, Danny Shays is the starting center. Charles Barkley and Dan Marley will start alongside him. And the head coach is Paul Westphal, now in his third year as head coach of the Phoenix Suns. The officials for this afternoon game, Ed T. Rush, Greg Willard, and Mark Wunderlich. And you see some of the principals here, and promises to be some pretty good matchups out on the court, Steve Jones.
There is going to be a lot of interesting matchups and a lot of excitement. This is a fast-paced offensive game. You know, we hear a lot of talk in the NBA about defense wins you championships. Both of these teams have bought into that somewhat, but if they don't bring their O, they won't bring any D, and that's the story of this game. They have to see the ball go in the basket.
Steve Jones, Mr. Alphabet Soup, as we get underway here at the America West Arena. Mourning wearing the number 33, jumping against Shays, and the tap goes to the Suns, who lead right away for Marley and out of bounds to Charlotte. And Muggsy Bogues, that he will do all day long whenever he's on the court, will push it up.
This is the matchup that they're going to hope to dominate, and that's Alonzo Mourning against anybody inside. And the Phoenix Suns, out of it, are always going to be looking to try to get the ball up the floor quickly and get a good, quick shot.
Kevin Johnson finds the way to the basket. The Phoenix Suns coming in losers of 3 of their last 4 games, and Phoenix fans just aren't used to that sort of thing.
Well, they aren't used to it because they've had such great success, and they've had a couple of home court losses, and I think that's what shocked them more. You lose to Boston, you lose to the Golden State Warriors, both of those teams struggling, and everybody wants to know what's wrong with their team.
Here is Barkley, and one of the matchups we'll be watching today, Barkley and Larry Johnson. Shot clock is at 5. Shays put the shot clock at 1 and had it taken away by Burrell.
That's the kind of defense that the Charlotte Hornets are talking about playing. Help defense, swarming, being all over the opposing players.
Scott Burrell knocking it back outside. Larry Johnson with more of an outside game this season.
Well, the back injury certainly stopped him from being a dominant inside player, but he's a better all-round player trying to post Barkley right now.
For Mourning. Alonzo Mourning with his first basket of the day. The Hornets lead by 2. Shays open for the jumper.
You can't see him, but he's the guy that flew out of the pack with the ball. He rarely gets back to hit a rebound, but that time he started to break. They get a turnover on a travel for Hawkins.
The Hornets on the second stop of a 6-game road trip and absolutely let one get away in Los Angeles Friday night against the Lakers.
Yeah, the sting of that one lasted with them all through yesterday, and they're hoping that they don't repeat the same mistakes by having an advantage and then let down with their intensity.
Dan Marley shot off the mark. Last time we saw Marley here, the week before the All-Star game, he was 0 for 8 from the floor. The shot comes up short, and here comes Marley again.
I watched Marley shooting the ball earlier in warm-up, so he feels it, and I think you're going to see a different Dan Marley this afternoon.
Johnson on Barkley.
Well, they got a post, and this is something that you'd like to see bigger guards do against Muggsy Bogues, but they're not able to take advantage of it.
Wesley Person for 3. The 6'6" rookie out of Auburn with his first points on the afternoon. The Suns by 1. Larry
Johnson has become a better passer pressure down on the post, and that time he was just waiting for either a double team or a cutter. Percy Hawkins gets an easy 2 points.
And Charlotte back up by 1, 65. The Hornets. Majerle 0 for 2 on 3-point shots, and the rebound to Alonzo Mourning.
Teams almost set up in a similar fashion, looking to go inside. You take a look at what Larry Johnson did the last time. Waited, let the defense make a mistake, bang, hits Percy Hawkins right at the basket. That's what you want. You want the guy with the ball down on the post to be able to be a feeder as well as a scorer. This time, I want to. Larry Johnson right over Charles Barkley.
First 2 for Larry Johnson today. Hornets with a 3-point lead. Inside, Wesley Person.
Another beautiful cut and a pass right at the basket. Persons has 5. We're going to see a lot of this from both teams. And as I said before, these teams talk about defense, but they need their offense. And when their offense is on, their defense really is more active.
Over the backboard from Hawkins. Let's go back to this matchup that we'll see all afternoon.
Again, Larry Johnson down on the post. They start this way. Barkley wants to make him a jump shooter, does that. But Larry Johnson is now a better jump shooter and delivers it good.
Johnson looking to take advantage of the matchup on Muggsy Bogues, and Bogues his first personal.
The last time Muggsy Bogues was down on the post, they sent 3 people to help him. He didn't get any help that time, and Johnson drew the foul.
Wesley Person has 7 of the Suns' 9 points.
Greg, when we talked to Muggsy Bogues, what was your impression of how he felt about being posted up?
I got the feeling he can't wait for people to give it a shot. Muggsy at 5'3", and Barkley stripped of the ball by Larry Johnson. Johnson with the lead from Mourning. Mourning can't deliver. Johnson out of bounds. And we have a timeout on the floor with 6:57 to play in a pretty fast-paced first quarter so far. Hornets by 2. There is Charlotte guard Muggsy Bogues at 5'3". You'd expect him to be posted up constantly. Steve Jones asked Phoenix coach Paul Westphal about that prospect.
I wouldn't say that we would never take him inside, but Muggsy's gained a lot of respect from both the players and the officials, and he is a strong little guy. Have you ever tried to post up a bulldog? You know, it bites you in the ankle. You know, you can't get away with it.
The last part of that statement is really the most impressive part. Not the bulldog, but the respect from the officials. That means that Muggsy might be able to get away with a few more things than other people get away with because he has earned it.
Scott Burrell with the long-range shot didn't fall, but Ed T. Rush says it's a loose ball foul on the Phoenix Suns' Danny Shades.
Mourning a little bit of a twinge as he came in trying to get that rebound, turned his ankle, but told Alan Bristow he was okay. The Hornets, they got a new look in their uniforms, and they got a new attitude, and against the Phoenix Suns, they also got a 2-game winning streak, so they feel that they can beat this team.
Burrell into the lane, and he draws the foul. 2-game winning streak to which you refer. These teams meet twice a year, and the Hornets swept the Suns last year. This is their first meeting of this season. Danny Shades now with foul number 2. Right about now, you'd be looking for Joe Klein to substitute, but he's not here. Let's check in with Hannah Storm. Hannah.
Well, that's right, Greg. In fact, Joe Klein was just named the starting center for this team for the rest of the season, but about 9 o'clock this morning, he had to take his wife to the hospital to have a baby. Still no baby, still no Joe, so Danny Shades gets the start, but Paul Westphal said he knew he was going to have to rely heavily on A.C. Green to match up against Alonzo Mourning, so A.C. sees some serious minutes at center, Greg.
All right, Anna, thank you. And if there is talked about perceived weakness with this Phoenix Suns team, as Kevin Johnson Johnson hits the short jumper. It's that they don't come on well against teams with dominant centers like the David Robinsons, the Patrick Ewings, the Hakeems, and maybe the Alonzo Mourning.
But their answer to that is boot up. And rightfully so. They're a team that is going, if they win this afternoon, stays tied for the best record in the NBA. So they can't be doing things all that badly without the dominant centers. They believe that if you look at Detroit having won their championship with Bill Laimbeer and Chicago winning theirs with Bill Cartwright, they don't need it. You see their record and how they've done against them. They've been hurt. They've been hurt, but then everybody's been hurt. You take those guys and throw them out against everyone, every team has been burned.
Burning Muggsy Bogues down court and missed the layup. Here comes Muggsy pushing it back. Larry Johnson.
In the past, you would have seen Larry Johnson try to put that ball on the floor and drive it. Now he's going to take what the defense gives him, knock down the open jump shot.
Johnson has 4. The Hornets lead by 3. As we come up on 5:40 to play in the first, Charles Barkley spins, gets past Mourning, and Mourning comes back for the block. Johnson, however, turns it over, and here come the Suns again. Wesley Person.
And Charles Barkley gave a great block. Alonzo Mourning was on the way to get that. Barkley just stepped in, and Persons has got 9 in the quarter.
9 of the Suns' 13 as Phoenix pulls to within 1.
They're going to make Muggsy Bogues a shooter in this ball game. They're going to try to make him be the guy that beat him.
Let's go back to Alonzo Mourning.
Charles Barkley, great job of getting Mourning off his feet, but Barkley waltzed in. And Mourning is a guy that won't quit on a play, came back, got a piece of it. Barkley wanted the goaltend.
Bogues to the outside shot that doesn't fall. E.C. Green onto the floor for Phoenix since that last timeout.
The backcourt has generated all the offense, and they're staying with it right now, trying to post Bogues. He gets called for the hand check. Muggsy Bogues down here. Now, you see him root. Now, he's going to get called for something cheap right now. Touching him. See, before he's pushing and shoving, and they let that go. But now, when you touch him, you got to come out of the game. Now, another little guy comes in the game, Michael Adams. They got Michael Adams to try to generate the same kind of pace that Muggsy was capable of. A better deep shooter, but Muggsy's played so well, Adams hasn't been able to get in the game after injury. They'll post again. Turnover.
Steal by Hersey Hawkins. Hawkins on the drive, the dish for Burrell. With Michael Adams, the Charlotte Hornets gained 7 inches on the floor.
and a tremendous deep ball shooter. So they've got long distance out there, and Hawkins as well as Michael Adams.
KJ and Charles Barkley tried to dupe the defense on that one. He come the other way. Johnson sets up Alonzo Mourning. Kevin Johnson was motioning Barkley outside and then gave him the backdoor alley-oop, which Barkley failed to convert.
This is a typical Sun start here of late. Charles Barkley is going to get a foul as he nailed Michael Adams on the screen. Now, you'll watch Barkley go up and try to get the ball, but the pass is not quite there so he can control it. And Larry Johnson showing ball handling ability right down the middle, and Alonzo over the top.
There is Barkley, and number 2, Elliot Perry, has come onto the floor now, replacing Kevin Johnson for Phoenix.
And Phoenix Suns become a different basketball team with Elliot Perry out on the floor. He's not the driver, the explosive finisher. He tries to set everyone up. And this is what they've been used to playing with. See if the Suns begin to get some offensive rhythm.
Marley with the setup on the inside for A.C. Green, who lost it. Here comes Larry Johnson again. For 3, way short, and Burrell has the loose ball. Nice pass along the baseline to Hersey Hawkins.
Well, Paul Westphal is thinking about a timeout. His team has been struggling with intensity at the start of the ball game. They're digging themselves a deep hole, and that's what we have, a break.
7 Phoenix turnovers so far. The Suns find themselves down 7, 3:14 to play in the first. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
And they have sorely missed this man in my left, Danny Manning, who's going to have surgery on your knee this week. Is that right?
Yes, I am. I'm going to have surgery Tuesday, and hopefully everything will go well.
I understand you have actually actually tattooed the words ACL in reference to your injury on your right ankle.
Yes, I did. I did that about a year after my first surgery, just something to remind me of the surgery, and every time I look down at my leg, it makes me go out and play a little bit harder.
After the first surgery, are you more emotionally prepared to know what's ahead and what faces you in a tough year of rehab?
Oh, no question about it. I know that the surgery will be successful because the doctors are very good, and I just have to go in every day and work hard on rehab and get better.
Okay, we wish you all the best on Tuesday, Danny, in the coming year.
Very much.
Greg?
All right, Hannah, thank you. As we come back, Charles Barkley scores 2 to pull the Suns to it in 5. Danny Manning's injury since then, the Suns just 5 and 3, and that's serious stuff to consider.
Well, it is serious stuff to consider because he was a multi-purpose player for them on the front line, playing the 3, 4, 5 spot, and they thought that he could play some against centers like Alonzo Mourning. Right now, nobody's playing against Mourning. Threw that one down, so he's dominating inside early.
That basket by Charles Barkley, the first by a Sun other than Wesley Person and Kevin Johnson.
But they wanted to try to get some inside going for Charles Barkley. Barkley complaint, foul, where is it afterwards? But the playmaker on the floor since both his Leicester games has been Larry Johnson. He missed that one, and showing that he is relentless inside. Mourning ripped it away, threw it down.
And Robert Parrish has now come on for Alonzo Mourning. Del Curry so on the floor for Charlotte. Barkley with the fadeaway. And Parrish with the rebound. Parrish pulled down 10 rebounds in the Friday loss to the Lakers. 41 years of age, his 19th season out of Centenary. And a whistle blows out front as Del Curry makes his move. There is the Chief. That's number 2 on Wesley Person.
Robert Parrish, the oldest player in the NBA. Moses Malone down with an injury. You saw Tree Rollins playing earlier today. So the ones that are long in the tooth and a little gray in the hair, they are brought around to give maturity to the younger players. Rollins in Orlando with Shaquille O'Neal, and Parrish here with Alonzo Mourning.
Curry, long range, got it. Three-pointer, Del Curry, the best sixth man in the NBA last season, gets his first points of the day. 25-15, Charlotte by 10. And Wayman Tisdale goes right to work. Elliot Perry. And that'll be against Scott Burrell, who grabbed hold of E.C. Green.
What the Suns need is not only Wayman Tisdale to give them some inside scoring, but A.C. Green to give them some sort of inspirational energy. Right now they're a little flat, but they've started since the All-Star break in that fashion, always behind and having to dig their way out of the hole. And against a team that's so much like themselves, they've got to find a way to make the Charlotte Hornets a perimeter team and then make layups at the other end.
A.C. Green playing in his 704th straight game and coming up fast on Danny Shays' Hall of Fame dad, Dolph Shays. Danny Ainge has come into the ball game now for the Suns as Green hits his second. Danny Shays, the only starter on the floor now for the Suns.
Westball looking for a combination that's going to give him some energy defensively, just be harassing and make those kinds of shots happen against them. The Charlotte Hornets are a good shooting team, but the first shot that's going to break down is a jump shot.
A minute 20 to play here in the first. Inside, Tisdale fails to convert. Michael Adams looking for room. Back outside, Burrell for 3.
Out of that, the Suns want to run. They should have 4 or 5 jerseys down the other way, but the Charlotte Hornets do a good job of getting back. Now they have to set up.
Ainge for 3. And nobody home for the Suns. 45 seconds to play here in the first.
And this is a shot Larry Johnson will take. He seems to be wanting to get everybody else involved right now. Curry had a good look.
Lots of running, but very little scoring right now. Elliot Perry finally hit. 25-19, Perry's first 2. Curry misses, and the Suns come back again.
Del Curry has the quickest release in the NBA. He's been in less than 2 minutes, got up 3 shots, so he's looking to get busy at the offensive end. Suns and Elliott Perry wanted to set up a pick and roll. The Hornets did a good job of making them go to another play. Ainge.
A schoolyard shot for Danny Ainge. Doesn't fall at the buzzer. That shot comes up shy. Hectic first quarter. The Hornets lead it, and Alonzo Mourning led the way with 6 points and 2 rebounds. Second quarter coming up from the America West Arena as we continue with the NBA on NBC.
Game of the week on NBC.
Welcome back to Phoenix. The Hornets leading the Suns 25-19. Along with Steve Jones, I'm Greg Gumbel, and one of the matchups we were looking forward to this afternoon, Steve, at the forward position between Charles Barkley and Larry Johnson. It's been Larry Johnson so far, but you get the feeling that once Charles Barkley gets back on the floor, he'll get involved.
Well, this is a Wild Wild West shootout, and Charles Barkley has plenty left in his arsenal. And Larry Johnson, who's off to a terrific start, we'll see him. Larry Johnson told me earlier, as you look at those comparisons, I want to make Charles Barkley a perimeter player. Barkley said the same thing in reverse about Larry Johnson, because they both know that if they get stuff going inside, then they become very dominant and very difficult to control.
Less than a week ago, Charles Barkley turned 32 years of age. Michael Adams knocked to the floor after he got rid of the ball. No whistle, and here comes Phoenix looking to cut into Charlotte's lead even more. They're down 6 as we start the second.
Now they got Johnson and Perry back out as a combination, so Kevin Johnson becomes more of a shooting guard with this small team. Danny Ainge goes up front, and they'll try to get this guy involved, Wayman Tisdale.
Tisdale over Parrish, doesn't fall. Parrish with the rebound.
Tisdale is one of those players that has to see the ball go in. His confidence drops dramatically if he doesn't see it coming out the end of the basket. Fast break. Done.
4 points for Elliott Perry. The Suns are within 4.
Michael Adams is quick, but he doesn't have the same ability to push the ball as much as both. They become more of a perimeter team. Foul against Elliott Perry. Good open court transition play by the Phoenix Suns. They excel in this, and the finisher this time is normally the guy that taps into somebody else. Fox. Elliott Perry.
Alonzo Mourning back on the floor now.
And this is what you would call a classic matchup. Big against little. Wayman Tisdale and Green against Mourning and Parrish. Both of those guys are going to be down on the post now. Now the Phoenix Suns, in order to handle that, need pressure on the passer out on the perimeter.
Del Curry. 5 for Curry. Hornets 5-6. Green for 3. Tapped out of bounds. Ed Rush says it was by Robert Parrish. Interesting that with Parrish and Alonzo Mourning in there, they've got a terrific advantage, and yet statistically the Charlotte Hornets are the shortest team in the league.
Well, they fall off. And when you got 2 guys 5'3", 5'9" on your team, that will take a lot of height away from you. Trying to set up and to go with a 2-man game to make Kevin Johnson make it happen.
Johnson on the drive, and he'll go to the line. And in fact, most of Phoenix's points so far this afternoon have come from the backcourt.
The backcourt has generated all of the offense with the exception of Charles Barkley. You look at Kevin Johnson and you think, what if he hadn't been injured? He is still super quick and explosive off with the basketball, and yet every year an injury has taken some sort of quickness and explosiveness away from him. But still, amongst the all-time leaders in assists, and the Phoenix Suns, they feel that he's going to make up a lot of the points that Danny Manning gave them when he was out.
AC Green with the offensive rebound in the basket. 4 for AC Green. And a foul in the backcourt. Elliott Perry draws his second. second. And we'll take timeout here with 9:58 to play here in the second. The Hornets by 4. This is the NBA on NBC.
Next Sunday, the Rockets battle the Spurs. Then the Suns face the Warriors on NBC. Makers of Grand Cherokee, and Wrangler. By the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. And by Network MCI Business. Install it in your office today.
Welcome back to Phoenix. It isn't always the case, but sometimes players will stand up for their head coach, and that was the case with the Charlotte Hornets and Alan Bristow. Here's what Bristow has to say about it.
Your players are either going to compliment you or going to be critical of you, and you have to understand that. Having the players rally behind a coach, I think, is certainly nothing new, and I think it's nice sometimes to see, because they're the ones that are going to ones that have to go out there and produce. So, I mean, they should be a barometer of whether the coach is successful or not.
Larry Johnson, and along with Alonzo Mourning, where the spokesman went into the owner, George Chin, and said we should keep him. And George Chin came out and said, had they said no, he'd have been flipping hamburgers down the street. I mean, he's still on the finish device.
George Chin got a bit antsy when the Hornets started this season 3-6. Thought maybe that Alan Bristow had lost control of the team, and Bristow said, well, why don't they ask the players? And that's when Mourning and Larry Johnson, they're Mourning traveling there, said to George Chin, no, he's doing fine.
Mourning really believes that it's their responsibility after they've been prepared to come out and perform. He's a true warrior. Big drive, Kevin Johnson.
6 points for KJ, 27-25. Suns are within 2.
Now, that's the thing about playing the Phoenix Suns. You get a lead, you look up, and the next thing you know, you're in a 2-point ball game or they're on top. You got to continue to score the basketball. You got to take advantage of their size and their mismatch. Alonzo Mourning with the quick left hand does so.
Mourning with 8, and again a 4-point lead for the Hornets as we come up on 9 minutes to play here in the first half.
Elliot Perry is waving all the big guys off. He feels it. You know, it's something when a guard says, give me a screen up. Go ahead, get out of the way. And he shoots right over the top. So Perry's got 6 as well.
And 3 out of 4 from the floor today.
If the Charlotte Hornets have gotten better at something, it's trying to be more of a team that sets up and takes advantage of what the defense will give them. They used to be a passing game team and rarely took advantage of mismatches.
A.C. Green had it taken away from him by Hawkins. 4-on-2, Del Curry. And Parrish knocked out of his hand, and the foul on Perry, and that's 3 on Elliot Perry, and he can't believe it.
Alonzo Mourning has the ability to play with either hand, and A.C. Green takes the right hand away. All right, if that's all you're going to do, and you're going to let me be that close to the basket, the 2. A quick release and a foul as Robert Parrish was trying to get that ball. Elliot Perry can't believe that call. 3rd personal foul. He's going to have to sit down.
Perry on the bench. Charles Barkley back into the lineup. Adams for 3.
Michael Adams is hoping he can make one of those 3-point shots for his mom at home. He wants to say hello, but he's come out of the game and she won't be happy with that defense.
Kevin Johnson is just finding a road to the bucket down court with regularity now. And we're tied at 29. KJ with 8 points. Mourning.
If you're going to defend against the Phoenix Suns, you have to stop the guy with the basketball. This time, the guilty party is Muggsy Bogues. He just turns Kevin Johnson loose, and Kevin waltzes in. If they're going to play that kind of defense, Kevin Johnson will take layups the entire afternoon.
Danny Ainge now looking to post up inside on Adams. Outside to Johnson. Kevin Johnson with the hot hand. 5 out of 6 from the floor. 10 points, and the Suns lead 31-29.
And again, I emphasize this idea about offense. The Phoenix Suns are an offensive team. They have outscored the Charlotte Hornets 12-4 since the start of the quarter and have taken command of the game. Now their defense is much more active. The Hornets wanted an illegal defense, didn't get the call.
Percy Hawkins for three. Muggsy Bogues setting up Percy Hawkins, and Hawkins now with 10 points, and the Hornets lead by 1.
The Pest is out and trying to slow down Kevin Johnson's three-point field goal, an early edge to the Charlotte Hornets.
KJ fouled by Muggsy Bogues, and that's 3 on Bogues. Foul troubles on both sides. 6:41 to play in the first half.
Today, along with Eagle Vision, we're here with baseball umpire Bill Morgan. What do you think?
I like Vision's aggressive styling. Got a nice wide stance, too.
Yeah, you want to take it for a test drive? You get a little extra time in your hands.
I'll say.
What's the call on the Vision?
Yeah, the 24 valve V6 really hustles. I like the looks of $1,700 off, too.
Yeah, you look good behind the wheel.
Thanks. Green's my favorite color.
It's black, Bill.
Oh, yeah. So it is.
You heard from him earlier. That's the injured Danny Manning. The Suns will have to do without him the rest of the way. And we asked Kevin Johnson about that prospect.
Danny Manning made all of our lives much easier. I think he was our best player up until that point, but he was an addition to, I thought, a very good team. And now we just need to just check it up. And, you know, the guys have been out there leading the charge, need to continue to do that. And, you know, I mean, despite all the criticism that we receive, and a lot of it valid, we've got the best record in basketball. You don't do that by accident. With a lot of guys not being in the lineup on a lot of given nights, that shows that we have a lot of guys that have contributed, and we have a will to win. Somehow we find a way to win. It's not conventional all the time or pretty.
Well, Kevin Johnson has stepped up his game today with 5 out of 6 from the floor and 10 points and 3 assists to go along with it.
And he's pretty. You got to believe that he's aware that Muggsy Bogues has 3 fouls on him. Going to try to put some pressure on him and get the fourth if they can. Barkley.
Barkley, with only his 3rd and 4th points of the day, still hasn't collected a rebound or an assist, but the Suns lead by 1.
If you're Muggsy Bogues and you want to stay in the ball game, you got to start making things happen at both ends of the floor. And the way he does it is becoming irritant. Pass up an open shot. Those here in attendance felt that he traveled. Going to have to put that ball in the air.
Alonzo Mourning for 3.
You know, with the line moved in, everybody gets into the three-point field goal range now, and Alonzo who still has the memorable shot of beating Boston, comes up with a big three-point field goal there.
Larry Johnson and Scott Burrell back on the floor for the Hornets, and here's another post-up. Kevin Johnson, and he aims from behind the line.
This is where the Hornets are going to get hurt for the next 5:33 with Bogues out there on the floor. They're going to have to get help, and they're not getting out to the deep shooter quick enough. Phoenix starting to get a little deep rhythm. Marley.
Off the AC Green rebound and lead. The Suns lead now by 3 with 5:10 to play here in the first half.
Frustration for Muggsy Bogues. He knows he's going to have to come out of the game. He saw Michael Adams come up the scorer's table. His head dropped. He wanted to stay in this. He had very little chance to play.
Bogues on the drive too far under the basket. Another rebound for AC Green. Danny Ainge converts at the other end, and Alan Bristow says we have to talk about this. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Prudential halftime report will have highlights of the Orlando Magic's dramatic last-second win over the Chicago Bulls, plus scores and highlights of the rest of the action around the NBA. In addition, we'll hear from the smallest man in the league, Charlotte's Muggsy Bogues. It's all coming up at halftime. Right now, Back to Phoenix as we rejoin Greg Gumbel and the snapper, Steve Jones.
All right, Bob, and the point guard battle being won handily by Kevin Johnson, who was instrumental in that last basket.
Kevin Johnson was, but if we look at and we follow the Phoenix Suns and Muggsy Bogues, now if we stop it right here, you're going to see 1, 2, 3 Charlotte Hornets right here. Now, when we let it run, these guys are all going to get beat by a pass. That's going to make this fast break possible for Danny Ainge. You've got to get back defensively, and when you have all your people collapsed and inside, and Muggsy Bogues trying to get a basket, you've got to be able to defend, and they weren't. The Phoenix Suns broke them down very easily.
Suns are 10 of 12 from the floor here in the second quarter.
Now, again, when I talk about offensive teams being better defensively, look at the activity that the Phoenix Suns have come up with now. Now the ball's going in the basket. They're scoring around. They're swarming the ball. They're able to make easy shots. Kevin Johnson.
And Johnson rejected by Alonzo Mourning. That's Mourning's third block of the day.
Michael Adams. Now, when Kevin Johnson was younger, he would have tried to jam that one, but I think he's learned that over the years, going up and taking those kinds of shots produce injuries. Give Alonzo Mourning the block.
KJ now in his 8th season out of California. Majerle off the mark. And the fight for the ball out of bounds to the Suns, and Mourning can't believe it.
Well, Alonzo Mourning, the ultimate competitor, he wants everything. He wanted that call. He'll try to deny every kind of scoring chance. Kevin Johnson thought he was clean. Not so.
Barkley over second. Barkley has 6, 42-30-17.
And he has worked his way into the lead in the Johnson-Barkley matchup, 6-4. And now the Suns are not letting Larry Johnson dominate things down on the block.
Johnson losing the handle on the ball. Here comes Barkley.
A mismatch here, and Kevin Johnson says, get out. You know, I got the big guy on him, and now when he's looking at this, he wants to go by.
Marley now 0 for 4 from three-point range.
He couldn't miss that shot in warm-ups, and now he can't get it to fall.
Adams fouls. You know, what Kevin Johnson ignored down low was A.T. Green calling for the ball with Michael Adams on.
Kevin Johnson is 5 for 6. I got the hot hand. I got a big guy on me, and Alonzo looks like he wants to guard me. There's no way that he's not going to be able to get by. They did a good job of making him throw the ball back out, but the better decision is he scored on every drive with the exception of the block, so why not try to challenge Alonzo Mourning? Now, if that were Charles Barkley and he ignored it, we would have a bigger argument. And we would probably be hearing Charles Barkley tell Kevin Johnson, don't ever do that again. That's how he felt, yeah.
42-38, Suns. KJ on another drive and grab from behind. Michael Adams.
When you have the ability to get by people the way that Kevin Johnson does, the only way you're going to defend him is to go to him early. Michael Adams back on his heel, giving ground. He still has the quickness and that quick first step to get by, earns a trip to the line. Now the defense is going to have to come up and force Kevin Johnson in one direction or the other so that they can contain him and keep him away from the basket.
Johnson goes 2 for 2 on that trip to the free throw line. He's missed 39 starts this year, missed 33 games entirely with an assortment of injuries, the latest being a sprained thigh muscle.
Notice that they triple team Larry Johnson, and he's not been able to get going. Nice up and under, but couldn't finish.
Stole the ball back and can't get the ball. Barkley with the rebound and draws the foul. And would like to get a little continuation, and it's not going to work.
Frustration for Alonzo Mourning. It doesn't get any better than that, than to get up and under and be right at point-blank range. Larry Johnson not able to finish, misses this time, and then it's Alonzo Mourning pulling the arm down. 2 for 7 for Larry Johnson after a very good start.
Almost got the basket after the foul, and he'll go to the line. That's 2-1 Scott Burrell.
The simple things make basketball easy. This is an example of a simple play. Barkley wide open, pump fake. And every time you do that, someone jumps. Scott Burrell is guilty of leaving his feet. Charles Barkley to the line.
Del Curry now onto the floor, replacing Scott Burrell. Charles with 7.
Now Charles Barkley amongst the all-time leaders in two-point field goal percentage. That number comes from being in the paint so much. Certainly will drop because he's more of a perimeter player, but to shoot almost 60% for career, that's outstanding.
Barkley with 8 points, 1 rebound. The Suns 42-38, 2 minutes to play in the half.
Look at Ames. Now, this is aggressive defense, and this is the way the Suns play. After they can answer people, no answer for that.
There is the Larry Johnson that we were used to seeing 2 years ago, and he has not had that type of game as much this year since the back injury.
Well, the back injury, he's still working his way back, and he's young enough to get back to that explosive player. Barkley, again, draws a foul.
What a pass from Kevin Johnson.
Good offensive players take advantage of what the defense gives them. Barkley gambled. Larry Johnson, he won a slam dunk contest when he was younger. Throws that one down. Now watch Barkley. Up again. Alonzo Mourning trying to get out of the way. Picks up the foul. He's going to have to get out of the ball game. Robert Perry comes back in.
3 on Mourning. And 0-0 comes back as Barkley looks to make it a 3-point play. What a terrific pass from Kevin Johnson.
Kevin Johnson is the man, but you doubted that Barkley was going to show up for this game. Well, he's right on time now.
Wait. I didn't doubt that Charles was going to show up. I was just wondering when. 49-40, Phoenix, under a minute and a half to play.
A 30-point quarter for the Phoenix Suns, and that's what teams are really leery of. This team is very explosive. They're playing a team, the Charlotte Hornets and Hershey Hawkins, who can get the same kind of numbers in a quarter.
There's an illegal defense on Hershey Hawkins leads all scorers with 13. Illegal defense call against the Hornets. Second of the day, and that means a technical foul.
Larry Johnson.
No, I beg your pardon, first.
Larry Johnson telling Robert Parrish it was his fault. Won't happen again. Johnson said he wanted to make Charles Barkley a jump shooter. Now they're trying to give him help down on the post. That leaves somebody open. It turns out to be Kevin Johnson.
That one out of bounds to the Hornets. Under a minute to play. 50.5 to be exact, is counting. 49-43 Phoenix. With a seesaw first half.
They wanted to get the ball to Del Curry. They didn't have a chance, so they're coming back to Johnson. Beauty.
Charles Johnson kind of gave, or Charles Barkley gave him a little nod of the head. Kevin Johnson in the lane comes up short. Harris with the rebound. Hornets down 4 inside the last 20 seconds.
What are the chances they're going to come back to Larry Johnson? He has been able to score against them, make things happen. They get him the ball.
Three-pointer rims and comes out. Barkley is going to run out of time. Johnson gives the Charlotte Hornets some spark at the end of the first half.
When we talk about Larry Johnson, we talk about his ability to play outside and showing that he can put it on the floor. He just blows by Charles Barkley and all of the Phoenix Suns for an easy scoring opportunity. Another look at the same play, and you can see no help. And when teams talk about being able to beat the Phoenix Suns, it's because they don't have a shot blocker inside. Barkley tried to finish.
8 points for Larry Johnson in the first half. The Suns lead it by 4. We'll get back to New York in a moment. This is the NBA on NBC.
Same amount of chicken this week?
No. Triple it.
Brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
At America West, the Suns lead the Hornets by 4 at the half, 49-45. Along with Julius Erving, Bob Costas back in New York. We'll hear from the doctor in a moment. 4 other afternoon games in the league today. Let's start with Chicago at Orlando. The Magic playing without Shaquille O'Neal, who was serving a 1-game suspension, without Horace Grant and Brian Shaw, both injured, but it was a terrific game. Despite the depleted Orlando roster, here are some highlights. In addition to all the other injuries, they lose Donald Royal to a twisted left ankle less than 3 minutes in. Spectacular effort by Anthony Hardaway. 25 points in the first half, 39 for the game, picking up the slack, and the Magic trailed the Bulls by 3 at halftime. Final seconds now, score tied at 103. Tony Kukoc loses the handle, and there goes Hardaway. He takes it in for the slam with 0.7 of a second left. Here's another look at the play which won the game for Orlando. Hardaway, as I said, finishing with a career-high 39 on 17 of 25 shooting from the field. The Bulls had one last chance with 0.7 of a second. The inbound to Scottie Pippen. He will get the shot off, but it's no good, and the Magic wins it 105-103, extending their home record to an NBA best 27-1. Now, here is my question. Less than a second to go as Hardaway slams it. A lot of guys might have panicked and pulled up for the jumper. How did he have such a sense of how much time remained?
Well, he knew the Bulls were playing for the last shot, and plus, after he stole the ball, he got a chance to look at the shot clock above the basket, which was counting down, and he knew how long it would take him to get to the basket. This was one of those games that's very frustrating for the Bulls to lose, because they were up 13 in the third, they were up 8 points in the fourth, but Orlando at 27-1 is one of those teams that has found a way to win at home, and that makes them a dominant player in the NBA.
Bulls dropped 4 out of 5 on their 5-game trip. Pippen had 21, Kukoc had 22. The Mavericks just lost to the Pacers. The final is in from Market Square, 100-92, and we'll take a look at the highlights. 6 straight wins now for Larry Brown's club. They bounced back from a 6-point deficit in the first half. Derek McKee to Rick Smits here. Smits had 28 for the game, and Indiana led by 5 at the half. Now, in the second half, Byron Scott will go cross-court to Vern Fleming, and then the spin move by Fleming, and the Pacers go on to win 100-92. They move within half a game of Charlotte in the Central. Miami and the T-Wolves at Minnesota, and it's a 60-46 lead in the second quarter for Minnesota. Utah and Denver. Utah now leading with about a minute to go in the second quarter, 50-44, and some quick highlights of that game. The Jazz got off to a blistering start here. Karl Malone off the pick and roll with 2 of his 12 first-quarter points, and they led by 14 after one at 34-20. And then in the second quarter, Dikembe Mutombo takes a hard elbow from Adam Keefe, and Mutombo was rushed to the locker room for stitches. Coming up toward halftime, and Utah now leading by a half dozen at 50-44. And up next, we'll hear from the fine point guard of the Hornets, Muggsy Bogues. That's after a message from Prudential and a word from the NBA.
Financial concerns, medical problems, anxiety about the future. 50 million Americans turn for help to one particular company, a company who sold
the shortest player in NBA history. Given little chance of an NBA career coming out of Wake Forest, he's fooled everyone. He's now in his 8th season in the league, and he's 3rd in the NBA in assists behind John Stockton and Kenny Anderson. Greg Gumbel spoke with the NBA's most unlikely star.
Muggsy, boy, he looks like a little kid that you never chose on your side of the basketball.
I tell you, he's small, but he's powerful.
Muggsy!
I tell you, in my day, we would have stepped on him.
Inside.
Have you ever sat around and wondered what you'd be like at 6'3"?
Oh, yeah. I'd be dangerous. I'd be dangerous because I'm always working on my postman move, my low post move.
Here comes Bogues.
Well, he's too small to play ball. 6 to wrestling, boys. He's too small to play basketball.
How many people felt that you would make it in the NBA?
Probably all my close friends. Just the people that was really Muggsy Bogues fans who really believed in me, because I knew that if I put myself in the best situation, that eventually it was going to happen for me.
Now, is this right? I was told that kids in your neighborhood ring your doorbell.
Yeah, this story kind of getting around now. Yeah, my wife, she got me. Kids be coming to my house, knocking on my door and asking my wife, can Muggsy come out and play? And, you know, I got kids of my own. I can't constantly come out with you guys all the time. But I get a kick out of that because the kids around the neighborhood, you know, they gravitate to you because I guess you're small, you're eye level, and you're less intimidating. And, you know, I love kidding around with them.
How about fans in the opposing arena? How do they treat you? Because fans are always looking for a hook.
Yeah, well, you know, fans are going to be fans, and, you know, they love the underdog. So, but, you know, there's a lot of humorous out there, a lot of joking because, you know, your size, Muggsy, stand up, this and that. But, you know, that never bothered me because I've always been a strong individual. It just come in one day out the other.
Is that as bad as it gets, Muggsy stand up?
Yeah, that and, you know, my teammates at times tell me I'd be in my chair with my leg just swinging off, my feet not touching the ground, so that gets silly.
Tell me about any embarrassing moments in the NBA life of Muggsy Bogues.
Well, some embarrassing moment for me was when I was with the Washington Bullets. You know, going to the Mecca gym and having the guy at the door tell me, kid, hold on, you can't come in here right now. You got to go around and purchase a ticket. And if it weren't for Moses Malone, I wouldn't be able to get in that game because Moses came and said, hey, this guy's a player. So security guard, you know, he didn't let me in.
It seems to me the turning point in your career was when you made the appearance on Saturday Night Live with Charles, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was up there with the Chucks.
And
I love you. And I really enjoyed it. I had the opportunity to tell a man on national television that I loved him. My wife loved that.
You know, if fans like underdogs, then you're about as underdog as they get in a sport where 6'5" is a norm, right?
That's true. You know, it's just a kid out there overcame a lot of obstacles who believe in and stuff, and that's what it's all about, having that self-confidence and going out there trying to live your dreams through.
Well, can his team fulfill the ultimate dream? Can a team with a 5'3" point guard win the NBA title?
Well, you know, not if he has to carry them by themselves, but, you know, the number for Muggsy is not 5'3", the number is 4'1", assist-to-turnover ratio. And when you talk about great guards, he's the best in the league in terms of assist-to-turnover ratio right now. I think with horses like Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson, you know, those are going to be the key guys in terms of the Charlotte Hornets' playoffs hopes. And his job is to feed those guys. This guy is a great citizen, a great player, and if you talk about the size of the man's heart, he's probably the biggest player in the league.
Well, let's see how Muggsy and his mates fare in the second half. We'll send it back to Greg Gumbel and Steve Jones after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
Tom Clancy, author of Hunt for Red October and Clear and Present Danger, presents his newest bestseller on NBC.
Warheads were stolen. It's the Game of the Week on NBC.
Welcome back to the America West Arena, where the Charlotte Hornets had the early advantage, but at halftime the Suns lead Charlotte by a score of 49-45. Greg Gumbel along with Steve Jones, and one of the things that the Charlotte Hornets are most proud of is their defense, yet the Suns blistered them for better than 51% in the first half. What happened to the Hornet D?
So you make me go back to the soup. Without they have no D. This is a team that their defensive energy is tied right in with what they do from the offensive end, and they like to see the ball go in the hole. In the first quarter, when they were controlling the game, they swarmed defensively, did a good job. They started missing shots. They also missed Muggsy Bogues, and the Phoenix Suns shot 60+% against them. So they've got to have Bogues out on the floor to be disruptive. They've got to force some turnovers. Then we can talk about their D, because they'll be making some shots.
All right, Steve. Miller Lite, halftime stats. Boy, the backcourt has really shined in a couple of areas. Take a look at Kevin Johnson. 12 points on 5 of 9 shooting. And in fact, the Suns' backcourt is shooting a blistering 67%. Meanwhile, Hersey Hawkins getting the job done for the Charlotte Hornets. When he scores 17 or better, the Hornets are 17-0 this year. Hersey Hawkins well on his way with 13, including 3 out of 3 shooting from three-point land. It's the Suns by 4. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment.
Need a new car? One with a little more room? Well, now you can lease an Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme for just $279 a month. It comes with a spacious new interior, dual airbags, anti-lock brakes, plus a powerful V6 for those emergency, we're out of baby wipes trips. But you better hurry. This is a limited time offer. Congratulations. Twins. It's your money.
Control is everything. Once you got it, everything else just falls in place. That's why I use this stuff, Pert Plus.
One smart shampoo, control-enhancing conditioners for hair that's easy to handle.
It just works. My hair does what I want. That's enough for me.
Pert Plus.
So fun.
What would it be like if everyone had the same face? The same face. Well, to get a comfortable shave, you wouldn't need a razor as flexible as the Schick Tracer. The Tracer bends to fit each individual face, leaving your unique face uniquely comfortable. The Schick Tracer. We're changing the face of shaving.
Next Sunday on the NBA on NBC, it's the Battle of Texas at the Key. Clyde and the Rockets lead Houston against Mr. Robinson and the Spurs. Then Sir Charles and the Western leading Suns take on the Warriors. When they met in the playoffs, Barkley scored 56. What'll happen this time? Next Sunday at 12:30 Eastern on NBC.
Welcome back to Phoenix, where the Suns lead Charlotte 49-45. Moments ago, Hannah Storm caught up with Alan Bristow of the Hornets.
Thanks, Greg. Coach Bristow, it's noticeable that you guys have trouble scoring in transition without Muggsy in the game. He's got 3 fouls. How do you keep him in?
Well, we got to keep him out of foul trouble, but we've gotten a lot of good open shots. We just got to keep shooting the ball, and they'll fall for us in the second half.
KJ's killing you guys. How do you keep him from penetrating?
Well, he's very dangerous, especially in the open court, and especially with the pick and roll. We had a little trouble with the pick and roll, and we got to make sure we keep him out from penetrating.
Do you risk doubling him and leave their shooters open?
Yeah, we're going to have to, because he's just too dangerous when he penetrates into the middle.
Okay, good luck in the second half, Coach. Greg?
All right, Hannah, so something to watch for in the second half, that the Charlotte Hornets may begin to double-team Kevin Johnson and force him away from what he has done in the first half. Meanwhile, that matchup that we focused on at the beginning between Charles Barkley and Larry Johnson. Here's Charles for the day so far.
Barkley had a big second quarter. He only had 2 points, had 9 in the second quarter, had no rebounds up to that point. Larry Johnson off to a very good start and then finished big after a little bit of a lull. So that matchup is still alive, and both of those guys are the big post players and will make things happen. So look for a second half and a big one.
Take a look at the leading scorers so far today. Hersey Hawkins leads the way for Charlotte with 13, Mourning with 11. For the Phoenix Suns, Kevin Johnson with 12, Barkley right behind him with 11, and then come Person and Perry. Kevin Johnson showing just how valuable he is to this Phoenix team. We talked about his injury problems earlier. This first 5 years in the season, KJ missed 20 regular season games. His last 2.5 years, he's missed 81. That's almost the entire season.
A lot of it has to do with his style of play. He was so explosive and so quick with the dribble that a lot of times he ended up hurting himself. Folks trying to get on track. They're giving him that jump shot. Every one of them has been short so far.
Barkley now just 1 of 7 from the field today.
The one he got was a layup, and that was a drive early. They're coming back to him. It's almost a triple team to keep folks in the game.
Person has 12 this afternoon, 52-45 Phoenix.
The Charlotte Hornets know that they're capable of coming back. They were down big to the Lakers, got back in the ball game, so they're a confident team out on the road. Big rebound, Larry Johnson.
Goes up strong, doesn't fall. Barkley rebound.
Larry Johnson used to be a great rebounder in traffic, and he just showed some of that ability to do that, but he doesn't do it the same way he did before he injured his back.
In the paint. And fouled by Barkley, and Larry Johnson will go to the line with a chance for a three-point play.
You know, Barkley always likes to do these things of getting even. This time it cost him, as Barkley gave him a little push, but it was because the big hip cleared him out, and Barkley took exception, and we just rode him down, so it's a chance for a three-point play. Doesn't go.
52-47 Phoenix. Larry Johnson has 10. Johnson down low on Bode.
They're sending Kevin Johnson down on the post. They're trying to get the defense to react. Another good play from Burrell, but he went right in the hands of Danny Shades.
First 2 points of the day for Danny Shades. Once again, Joe Klein not here at the hospital with his wife Dana, who is in labor. They expect their third child, Larry Johnson. 12 for Larry Johnson.
Keep your eye on your man and the basketball. Kevin Johnson saw Percy Hawkins turn his head. The ball was right on the money and an easy two for Wesley Person.
A couple of sparkling assists for KJ today, and Wesley Person is a perfect 6 of 6 from the floor today. And there's another cheap call out front. This one on Wesley Person. That's 3.
The Phoenix Suns do a good job of opening things up. Majerle goes in, looks like he's going to have that one blocked, so he gives it to Dan Chase for his first 2. They're going to Larry Johnson. He's wearing Charles Barkley out right now.
That's 14 as LJ has picked up his game here in the second half. 5-point Phoenix lead. Barkley, 3. Around and out, and here comes Mugby.
But notice how much quicker they are to change into the floor with Mugby folks out on the floor, and a quick transition gives Alonzo Mourning 2 points.
Mourning has 13, and the Suns lead down to 3.
This is when Mugby gets in a little bit of trouble. They're going to clear his side, so they're going to have to give him some help. Majerle looking for his first 3.
0 for 5 from three-point range today for Dan Majerle, and Larry Johnson at the other end doesn't fall. Taps over to Hershey Hawkins. Hard-working Larry Johnson finally gets the 2. And a timeout, Phoenix Suns. And a technical foul on Larry Johnson.
Now they're trying to keep Larry Johnson in the game, so they're trying to separate him and the officials. Mourning gets between Willard and Larry Johnson, his teammates, to get in between Johnson and the rest of the officials. Larry Johnson felt he got fouled, continues to talk, but he came back in after missing what should have been a sure 2 in the first chance. He thought he was fouled right there. Now, see, there it is. In his mind, when I get hit like that, I got to be going to the line. The official, I didn't see it. Wasn't my call.
Kevin Johnson converts the free throw. Larry Johnson said that was a foul.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Arizona Republic.
8 points for Larry Johnson this quarter. 2-point Suns lead. We'll be back.
Yo, get with the program.
Catch Inside Stuff Saturday mornings on NBC. The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Oldsmobile, by Molson of Canada, a Canadian tradition since 1786, and by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth.
Fair share of cactus around this town. Larry Johnson, 8 points in the first half, 8 more here in the third. Here's Charles Barkley earlier today on LJ.
I try to force him out to shoot jumpers. I don't think he has the confidence, that unstoppability he's had in the past where he could just explode and make things happen. I think right now he's just trying to get his confidence back, and if you allow him to, he will float out on the floor more and stop posting up as much. I've always thought he was terrific because of his explosiveness. I think what happens is once he struggled with his back, he's not as dominant inside anymore, because when you're 6'4", like he is and I am, you have to have that explosiveness around the basket, or you can't finish as well. And I think he's lost that a little bit.
Well, Larry Johnson has certainly gone to the three-point shot more this year. Wesley leads all scorers with 17, and Phoenix leads by 5.
The beauty of Larry Johnson is, though he may not be as explosive as he was, he is still just as good as ever. He's been able to improve by using his quickness along with his strength to take the ball to the basket. We've seen a couple examples of that. Muggsy Bogues is trying to get off the snide with that jumper. Missed again.
Can't get one to fall from outside. He is 1 for 8 from the floor today.
Now, what the Hornets have to try to figure out defensively is who they will give up and gamble off. Well, the most likely guy should be Danny. They catch Alonzo Mourning back in the paint. He's illegal, so that will be a violation.
And a free throw.
Barkley's looking at Shays and saying, look, you got to shoot this. If I throw it out to you, you have to shoot that shot. Free throw.
Kevin Johnson with 13 points, 3 out of 5 from the free throw line, now 4 out of 6 and 14 on the day.
Kevin Johnson always been an 85% career shooter, so you can look for him to really be looking to get to the free throw line against this team.
Dan Marley still hasn't hit a three-pointer today. And that is Alonzo Mourning. You know, Johnson is in a celebratory mood.
This is how Kevin Johnson got hurt last year, or no, 2 years ago against Portland. They made a last-second shot, jumped on Charles Barkley, ended up straining his knee. He comes in the chest, but that was a big rebound for Shea. The reason for it, he was able to get in and give Alonzo Mourning a little nudge with his big body. Mourning 4 personal fouls. So the 2 key guys defensively, Muggsy Bogues and his ability to turn the ball over, Mourning with his ability to block shots, they're strapped by foul trouble here early in the second half.
61-55, 7:10 to play, third quarter. Suns with the lead. Bogues out of the corner. Gets the bounce. Shays with the rebound. Here comes KJ.
Alan Bristow is searching for some answer, but the real one is you've got to stop Kevin Johnson with the basketball. If you allow him to get a full head of speed, he's difficult to shut down from penetration, gets all the way to the hoop. Now you have a chance for a three-point play, and the scoring has come out of the Phoenix Suns backcourt. They have really taken advantage of Percy Hawkins and Muggsy Bogues in the starting combination.
You saw a shot of John Bach there, the assistant coach added to the staff this year. And his specialty is defense. I'm sure he's wondering just what's going on here. Larry Johnson again. Johnson has 18.
Larry Johnson's job right now is to keep his team close, keep them in the ball game. Don't let them lose contact. So he's been the big hitter for them, 10 and a quarter. Has done a good job against Dan Marley. This is a shot for Marley to shoot that in-between shot. He likes either a drive all the way to the basket or the three-point shot. He pulled up, couldn't connect.
He hasn't had much luck with anything today. Just 1 out of 8, including 0 for 6 from behind the three-point line. Larry Johnson with a three. Larry Johnson, coming into this game, had attempted 42 threes this year. In his first 3 seasons in the league, he tried 28.
That was when it was a real shot. 28 was a real shot. Now Larry Johnson thinks I'm a three-point shooter.
50 to play.
If John Box is the architect of their new defensive philosophy, then he's got to come up with something that's going to help Muggsy Bogues out. Good steal.
Fouled by Danny Shades. That's number 3 on Shades. There's John Box. Danny Ainge on the floor.
Whenever you have the basketball, you should protect it. Barkley took his hands off the ball. Larry Johnson said, if you don't want it, I'll take it. Danny Shades picked up the foul.
It has been a heck of a third quarter for Larry Johnson. 11 in the quarter now.
Opportunity John Curry returns to the Hornets lineup. A 33.
Larry Johnson is putting in some time on the floor for the Hornets.
Well, Larry Johnson was a very durable player before he hurt his back, and now he's back up to putting a lot of minutes out on the floor. And now Alan Bristow is going to come back to his small lineup. Mourning goes to the bench. They don't bring in Carey. They know that this is an up-and-down game. There's a small lineup out there with A.C. Green, and the Hornets are going to press. We'll count that as a jumper.
64-61.
He finally broke that little snide that he was on. First 2 of the second half.
2 out of 10 from the floor now for both.
Now they're going to double the ball whenever they can. They almost had a turnover with Scott Burrell. He got a piece of that ball.
Shot clock down to 7. Johnson with the ball.
That's the shot you want Kevin Johnson shooting. He's capable of making three-pointers, but that's not his strength. Larry Johnson just trying to take over, missed a good drive.
Phoenix with the ball, a 3-point lead. And 4:50 to play here in the third. Barkley with the ball.
First 2 of the second half for Charles Barkley, but whenever they see this kind of defensive pressure, that's going to give Barkley more chances to shoot the ball in one-on-one situation. Coming back to Larry Johnson. This is a guy that teams have left open. Over the years, they've said the Charlotte Hornets' weakness has been Muggsy Bogues. Now, after making 1, says I can make 2, and that's 2 in a row for Muggsy.
6 points on the day for Muggsy, 66-63. Barkley again. 15 for Charles. He's got Burrell top of the key.
Burrell is a great long-distance shooter, but he missed that one, and they're going to get beat because of it. Long rebound, and A.C. Green sprints out.
Back to a 7-point lead for Phoenix. Barkley with the steal. Kevin Johnson. Now with 3:05 to play in the third. Burrell again. Burrell going to keep doing it until he gets it right. That's 3.
Well, Burrell was in the long-distance shootout and shoots a high percentage. You give him a couple of chances to set his feet, he's going to hurt you. He was ready to shoot that ball that time.
His first chance in the first quarter. Barkley comes right back on the baseline. Charles Barkley with 17 for didn't fall for him. We have a track meet going.
I told you it was a patient hitcher type of game, and it's back and forth, and A.C. Green right for two.
Alan Bristow says we can't win this one. 13 assists for Kevin Johnson.
The danger of Charles Barkley is that once he gets the perimeter game going, then he's going to be effective inside. They give him all day. And when he sets his feet, he's an excellent perimeter player. Now watch Larry Johnson spin off of him right inside for two.
Barkley has taken over 74-66 Phoenix. This is the NBA on NBC.
Bottom of the seventh. Mattingly at bat. One out. Runner on third. Here's the pitch. Mattingly hits it deep to right center.
I got it.
I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it.
Sunfire. Now, if you ever take your zooming across Easter Island, they probably won't give you one of those big head things. But hey, the rear seats fold down, just in case. Or if you ever take your new Pontiac Sunfire to China, they probably won't let you go tearing around on that big wall they got, which is too bad, because the sports suspension would be great on those curves. Finally, a real set of wheels.
Just over 2.5 minutes to play here in the third, along with Steve Jones and Hannah Storm. I'm Greg Gumbel, Larry Johnson, and Charles Barkley, beginning to put on the expected show.
Yes, this is a matchup you would pay to see, and Larry Johnson was supposed to be the second coming of a dominant inside player like Charles Barkley once was, but showing his overall ability, he has a slight edge in scoring and an edge in the rebounding. They're going to need more of that play from Larry Johnson, and Barkley is just starting to get into this game.
Del Curry pushes it up in a hurry off the baseline, 74-68. Curry has 7.
Everyone says neither one of these teams can win an NBA championship because they don't play defense. They rely too much on their offense. But the way they stretch teams out, you have to play at their pace. And there are some teams that play slow control basketball that can't take the pace from either one of these. That will be defense enough. Barkley travels. Parrish comes in the game to give him some size, and Muggsy Bogues sits down.
Michael Adams onto the floor. So the Hornets now with Adams, Del Curry, Scott Burrell, Larry Johnson, and Robert Parrish.
Well, Michael Adams said he can't get the lid off the hoop, but they need him to find his perimeter shot as well. Looking for the double team, it doesn't go.
That one out of bounds to Phoenix. Kevin Johnson with the defensive pressure.
Larry Johnson spun away and lost control of the ball thanks to Charles Barkley. He got a little piece of it, pushed it out, and that's why Larry Johnson was pointing to his end of the floor.
A minute and a half to play in the third. Johnson feeding A.C. Green. It didn't fall for him.
A.C. Green is looking back at the official and saying, where was his foul? The crowd wanted something, didn't get it.
Johnson, long three-point shot doesn't go. Green lost the rebound. Parrish, foul by Kevin Johnson. That's 2 on KJ.
It's a surprise to Robert Parrish, and you can tell it takes longer for Old Bones to heat up because he wasn't ready to explode. That's why Kevin Johnson was able to come over the back, but Parrish goes to the line. We got a 6-point ball game. Every free throw, it means something for the Charlotte Hornets, and Parrish is yet to score.
Charlotte Hornets, a good free throw shooting team at 78.2%. And David Wingate makes his first appearance of the day. He replaces Scott Burrell. Parrish baskets, 1 for 2. His only point of the day, he had 6 rebounds. Kevin Johnson back outside. Person.
It's not how many you take, it's how many you make. He has 11, 20 in the game, 11 in the quarter, and he hasn't missed a shot this afternoon.
8 out of 8, 4 for 4 from three-point range. Michael Adams misses, and A.C. Green with another rebound. There's Person's first miss of the afternoon. Green, Barkley fouled, and he'll go to the line.
Wingate and Dale Curry come together for a rebound. They can't decide who wants it. A.C. Green picks it up and gives it to Barkley. Barkley again waiting, knowing that a foul is on its way, will go to the line. David Wingate picks up the personal.
Steve, every time the Hornets have mounted a challenge late in the first half and then here in the second, someone on the Suns has always had an answer for it.
The Suns are an offensive team, and you hear everyone talk about their depth, but it's depth with the ability to put the ball in the basket. Now, we talk about defense a lot, but the game is offense, and you have to have people that can score the ball. Barkley has picked up his scoring since Danny Manning has gone out. Kevin Johnson, his return, a big afternoon. Wesley Person. So they got a lot of ways that you can beat you, and that puts a lot of pressure on a lot of teams' defenses.
Several changes now in the last 27 seconds. Robert Parrish goes to the bench. Percy Hawkins back into the game. And Dan Marley back on the floor for the Suns. The Suns 79, the Hornets 69.
About a 2-second differential between game and shot clock, and they'll try to hold, make sure that they get a good look.
Adams floats into the lane, shot doesn't fall, Shady's with the rebound.
That's what happens when you don't hold. You get the opponent coming back and scoring. Charles Barkley gets a layup.
With just 4 seconds to play, and Percy Hawkins now has it taken away by Elliott Perry. Third period for the Phoenix Suns. Wesley Person finally missed a shot. He's a 20-point scorer this afternoon, and the Suns are in charge 81-69 as we head to the fourth. This is the NBA on NBC.
To the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Along with Hannah Storm and Steve Jones, I'm Greg Gumbel, ready for the start of the fourth quarter. Who is that man on camera? It's the Gambler.
The question is, does he know when to hold or fold when he's shooting shots?
I got a feeling he knows. Kenny Rogers, welcome to the America West Arena. Understand he was playing golf with Charles Barkley yesterday.
Yes, and Charles Barkley felt so good about that effort, he wants to go again. So first he wants to win the game, and then he wants to take Rogers back out.
Oh, Ruby, don't take your load to town. 11-point Phoenix lead as we start the fourth.
Well, the Suns are most dangerous when they can get this crowd into it, and they've had something to cheer about here in the second half. Another big offensive quarter for them, 32 points.
Barkley hits the side of the backboard. Gabe Farrell is shoved.
Should have been a foul there, and they end up getting Dan Marley a shot, and now they get the foul against Larry Johnson.
Alan Bristow is beside himself.
You got to call it, and that's what Bristow's trying to get the official, and Burrell is under control. Now watch the shove right there. And the official is right there and missed it. Burrell puts his hands on his hip, and Bristow, who's been known to lose it, lost it.
That's That's like an air ball. That's just a miss.
I thought from the way that Marley warmed up today, he was going to have a good afternoon, but he has struggled again. But they haven't needed it. Wesley Person has stepped up big, and Person has been more than capable of filling the void. Del Curry.
Del Curry off the screen, 83-71. Del has 9. Let's check in quickly with Hannah Storm. Hannah.
Lyle Bristow was pretty emotional during that last huddle, and he reminded his team, Greg, that the other night in Los Angeles, they scored 15 points. It came from a 15-point deficit in the fourth quarter to take the Lakers into overtime. He said, look, this is a 4-point game just a couple of minutes ago. Don't give up. We can get back in this one, Greg.
All right, Hannah.
The Suns will let you back in the ballgame, but you've got to move the ball and move people and challenge them at the basket. The Phoenix Suns are not a great defensive team themselves coming inside the Mourning.
Mourning draws the foul from Charles. Emotional game for the Hornets in several ways Friday night against the Lakers because they were down, they came back, they had the game, they gave it back to the Lakers, they went to overtime and lost it.
And that loss carried them, and their heads were down as Hersey Hawkins is now. Hawkins was huge in that first half, has yet to get a score in the second, and the barometer for them is 17 points. Somebody needs to tell Hersey, all you need is 4 more points, we win the game. This is their road trip, the tough loss to the Lakers. This is not an easy trip for them by any stretch. So they could lose their division lead. That's what's at stake for them on this trip, but they've also got to show that they can play out on the road and beat teams that are quality teams.
A loss here this afternoon, and they fall into a tie with the Cleveland Cavaliers. 83-72, Suns by 11. 35 to play in the game.
Now, Barkley's out of the ball game, so Larry Johnson is now guarding A.C. Green, and Alonzo Mourning will deal with Wayman Tisdale. Good pressure by Michael Adams to make him use time on the clock.
Pointer tosses up an air ball. And A.C. looking for another call.
He's saying, look, no way am I that bad. He's looking for that. He hit me on my elbow.
Alonzo Mourning from Larry Johnson.
Alonzo Mourning with 16. The Suns haven't hit a shot yet here in the fourth quarter.
The way to control the Suns is to make them more of a perimeter team and then get people that are really not good shooting the basketball. Good drive by Dan Marley.
85-74 Phoenix. Didn't fall for him. Another rebound for Green. He has 13 this afternoon. And away from Ames behind the Phoenix. 9.5 minutes to play in the game. The Suns lead it by 11. This is the NBA on NBC.
Next Sunday, the Rockets battle the Spurs. Then the Suns face the Warriors on NBC.
The world's a very cool place.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
Today's Miller Genuine Draft Genuine Moment looks back at the 86 Celtics. Before Robert Parrish was a Hornet, he was schooling a young Hakeem Olajuwon. And before Danny Ainge was a member of the Suns, he was finishing off passes from Larry Bird. Ainge won 2 NBA titles during his 7 years in Boston, while Robert Parrish won 3 during his 14 years in Beantown. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Let's check in quickly with Hannah Storm. Hannah.
Well, we may not see Charles Barkley the rest of the game, Greg. I just talked to the Suns team doctor. He twisted his knee in the third quarter. It continues to bother him. He's feeling a lot of pain on the inside of that left knee, and as you can see, they've wrapped it and they're icing it down, and they would like not to have to play him for the remainder of the afternoon. Greg?
All right, Hannah, thank you. 9.5 minutes, plenty of time on the clock. The Hornets down by 11.
Another point lead without Barkley certainly is not a comfortable position. I mean, other people are going to have to step up. Mourning knocked that one out of bounds. This is a complaint that Mourning had in the loss to the Lakers. They couldn't get rebounds at the key times, particularly on deep shots. So they've got to do a better job of keeping themselves between man and ball and rebounding the basketball.
Elliott Perry gets the bounce. rebound.
Johnson reluctant to shoot that three. He had it the first time, passed it up, and then decided to go with it.
And a loose ball foul is on Larry Johnson.
And the Phoenix Suns are not supposed to be a good rebounding team, but they're doing a good job of keeping the ball alive. Larry Johnson, trying to get to it, picked up the personal foul. But the Hornets are not dead. They've got a run in them still, but they've got to do a job of making the Suns a one-shot team with each possession.
Nicely set up by Elliott Perry.
Mistake by the Hornets defense. They didn't have to gamble on Elliott Perry. That left Tisdale wide open for his first two of the afternoon. Burrell is wide open.
His three-pointer is off. Johnson with the rebound. Adams on the run comes up short. Bristow says, we have to talk about this.
Anytime you get the crowd in it, the Phoenix Suns get really active, and this is a classic pick and roll where the defense doesn't read it properly. Now you're in a 2-on-1 situation. It is foot speed, and foot speed will always be quickness in an open court. Elliott Perry wins that race.
The Phoenix Suns are looking to give Charles Barkley the rest of the afternoon off. We'll be back.
This one in the worst way, from one brother to his younger.
Yeah, there goes the senior brother, the king to the prince. And
Beechwood aged Budweiser. It's always been true. This Bud's for you. 5 Pizza Hut. You'll love the stuff we're made of. And by the Gatorade Company. If you're not standing on the sideline, you're going to get thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
halftime, Alan Bristow told Hannah Storm that they were getting the shots, they just weren't knocking them down. And there are 3 guys that really would kind of like to have do-overs today. And Michael Adams, Scott Burrell, and Muggsy Bogues a combined 6 for 29.
Alan Bristow is going to have to bring Muggsy Bogues back out on the floor in order to generate the kind of pace that he wants if he wants to get back in this ball game. Ineffective shooting has forced Larry Johnson to try to do too much on that play. He really didn't have any place to go, tried to force it. They're lucky to get the ball back. 7 on the shot clock.
Adams hit the back rim. Johnson has it, and the lob for Mourning, who is fouled by Danny Ainge. Charles Barkley still with ice on his leg. Let's check in again with Hannah Storm. Hannah.
Well, Greg, the Suns continue to say that Charles Barkley could come back and play in this game if they needed him. But he told trainer Joe Crosby that he's feeling pain in lateral movement. Running straight ahead, he was fine. He doesn't know what happened to the knee, but at some point in the third quarter, it started getting very sore. And obviously, their preference is to rest him, re-examine that knee tonight, and if an X-ray would be necessary, that would happen at some point tomorrow. Greg?
All right, Hannah. Meanwhile, at the free throw line, Alonzo Mourning missed the first of 2. Charlotte just 6 of 12 from the free throw line. Now 7 of 13, and as we said earlier, one of the best free throw shooting teams in the NBA at better than 78%.
Hey, here's the story. Elliott Perry now going against Muggsy Bogues. Bogues ran him out of Charlotte when he was first down there trying to make the team. Elliott said, I remember your name. I got a job now.
A job and a welcome home here in Phoenix. Another sellout crowd, 19,023 here at the America West Arena.
Right now, the Hornets are confused as to how they want to attack. Anytime you get Alonzo Mourning with the ball that far away from the hoop, you're in trouble. He gets away, and fortunately, they get a foul. Dan Majerle should have just let him try to spin and create because he's not a good dribbler or ball handler that far away.
Here's Hersey Hawkins coming back onto the floor. He shot 5 for 6 in the first half. Hasn't yet taken a shot in the second half. That's a mistake on the Hornets' part.
Hersey Hawkins is a very explosive offensive player, but he's also a floater. If you don't force him to play and get him in the game as the Suns get a turnover, he won't be out there. You won't know that he's there, and that's what's happened for Hawkins and the Charlotte Hornets.
93-75 Phoenix, 6:40 to play in the game. Both inside for Mourning. 19 for Alonzo Mourning.
8 points in almost 6 minutes of play, and this is one of the highest scoring teams in the NBA, so you know that the Suns have really broken them down, and that their defensive energy is not there.
Johnson fails on the save attempt on the baseline.
Phoenix Suns do a good job of just swarming the basketball. A.C. Green is able to get it out. Now they got an easy 2-on-1 for Dan Majerle.
Majerle for 3. Now 0 for 7 from three-point range. Hawkins with a 3. Hersey with 16. That's his first shot of the second half. The floater.
Yeah, but you've got to make him play and make him remain in the offense. And if you don't, he wasted 12 minutes in that third quarter by producing nothing.
E.C. Green.
This is where they've got to have it, and they are not getting it done on the glass. And Mourning and Larry Johnson are guys that are capable of doing a better job of rebounding, so they're letting second shots beat them, as well as a lack of offensive efficiency.
Bowles left open. Elliott Perry. 12 for Elliott Perry.
Been a dominant backcourt effort by the Phoenix Suns. We've gotten a big contribution from 3 guys. Perry, Person, Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson is going to get to sit probably the rest of the quarter, and he didn't play at the top of the fourth.
Larry Johnson with a chance for a three-point play. The foul is on Dan Majerle, his second. There's KJ, who led the early charge for the Suns.
And Kevin Johnson, spoke of their depth and their talent and the fact that they don't have the best record because they're so bad. And it's obvious that they can come at you in different ways, and you've got to be able to make this team miss shots. And if you don't, you're going to have a tough time beating them, particularly here at America West.
Danny Ainge's 3 is off. Johnson with a rebound. Bulls looking to make something happen. Johnson, short pop. Too short. Under 4.5 to play in the game now. And Ainge is fouled out front. That's 2 on Hersey Hawkins.
But when you talk of defense has to initiate. Hersey Hawkins was reacting. That's why he picked up the personal foul. When defenses are good, it's because they're out, they're aggressive, they're forcing the offense to set up in areas that they don't want to. They have pressure on the passer. Tough time. They finally get a violation on isolation. They had 4 men above the top of the circle. So 4 offensive players above the top of the circle. Another 3 for that guy.
Hersey Hawkins now at 19.
And Hawkins is only with 1 shot. And, sometimes you forget that a guy has it going well when you're looking at other people. They need to keep him in the game.
97-85 with 3:45 to play.
They're thinking about a quick 3.
Del Curry.
And they got it.
Del Curry put that one up in a hurry. And the Suns will take time with 3:37 to play in the game. It's 97-88, and just that quickly, the Hornets have got it back down to single digits.
Inside every one of us is an athlete with a thirst for the game going on around us. It's life, and if you play hard at it, you get thirsty. That's why we make Gatorade. Hey, life is a sport. Drink it up.
So, Ellen emails Peter that Cove of Aphrodite Part 2.
How about this one? Last Tuesday night, the Rockets and the Spurs staged another Western showdown. This time, David Robinson and company were left standing, and it is revenge time for the newest Rocket and his former classmate. The battle continues at the Alamo Dome next Sunday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Steve Jones, Hannah Storm, and I will be on hand at the Alamo Dome for a true matchup between big men as Charles Barkley takes the floor.
Well, Paul Westphal, realizing that his team is now slowed down, they warm up Charles Barkley's ice-down leg and bring him back out on the floor. But let's see if the defensive awareness and intensity picks up for Charlotte.
AC Green in the open shot.
That's what you want, one shot from a guy like AC Green, and then to be able to come back and get a score, trying to go inside the Mourning.
Back outside, back down to Mourning.
See, they're going to give both the shot. They're just going to say, Muggsy Bogues, you take that shot. Mourning gets a good bounce. He's got 8 1/4, 7-point game. Nervous crowd, Greg.
21 for Alonzo Mourning. We're under 3 minutes to play.
Near steal by Muggsy Bogues that time.
Barkley to Brown. And the fifth one for Alonzo Mourning of the day. And he may have jammed his finger.
With the ball.
He got jammed. He got a foot in the stomach. And a 20-second timeout called by the Hornets.
You can see AC Green coming knee high. And anytime you take a shot like that, you're going to go down, and he's writhing in pain. Looked like he caught him right on the hip. And people around the country who like Alonzo Mourning don't want to see the big fella have to sit for any length of time.
So extraordinary performance by Mourning today, 21 so far. And this has now turned into a full timeout charge to the Charlotte Hornets. I want to remind you, coming up at 7 o'clock tonight, it's an all-new Earth 2, followed by an all-new Sequest. And then it's the world premiere of Tom Clancy's latest thriller, Op Center. That's all coming up tonight on NBC. 97-90, Suns in the lead, 2:46 to play. This is the NBA on NBC.
I like to, build something, stand there, look at it, admire it, and I get a satisfaction out of that.
Sears National Hardware Sale, designed for those who really care about their project.
You take a good tool, nice sharp edge, it's pleasure.
This is the NBA on NBC.
And Alonzo Mourning ready to give it another go after taking a real shot. Although it comes out limping and wincing a bit.
AC Green on the drive comes up knee high, both of them, and the shot is challenged and knocked away, and in the process, Alonzo Mourning down in pain and was down the entire time. Got up, wanted to stay out on the floor. Bogues almost gets it back. Shot clock should expire.
And that's out of bounds to Phoenix.
Barkley wouldn't let Muggsy Bogues get to it, just popped him right there and ran him off the ball.
3 seconds on the shot clock. Aid turned and almost connected. Didn't hit the rim, so it's a violation, and the ball goes over to the Hornets with 2:40 to play.
Bristow frantically telling his team he wants to get into their hurry-up play. Now they got to get the shot clock set along with game clock. There's 2:42 left in this.
Both Mourning, Johnson, Dell Curry, and Hersey Hawkins.
to shoot it, but see, he's not going to take that shot. Not now. Turn it over. A rare turnover for Muggsy Bogues trying to take advantage of a mismatch.
Barkley.
With Barkley stiff, Larry Johnson should make him see if he can make a shot. Barkley's holding the ball, make him shoot the jumper.
23 for Barkley. Collision, out of bounds, ball belongs to Phoenix.
Decisions at the right time of the game can win or lose, and Barkley felt he was up to making a good one, and Muggsy Bogues trying to come back and counter, had his shot blocked. He's been a frustrating afternoon for Muggsy Bogues. The Suns want to use the shot clock in every possession now. They know that that is their ally, and the Hornets have to have mistakes, not getting any.
Down the lane. Nice shot for Danny Ainge. And just like that, the Suns are back to an 11-point lead with a minute and a half to play.
Well, they know Del Curry's got a quick release, and they're trying to find him. They leave Bogues open.
Whistle underneath. Ainge fouled Alonzo Mourning. Bogues 3 of 14 this afternoon.
He knows that this has not been his afternoon, and he's hurt his club by not being able to knock down those wide-open shots. A lot of people feel that if the Charlotte Hornets were able to ascend to a championship run, he would have to be a guy that was a consistent threat. They haven't seen it from him so far.
And as we mentioned, this is the second stop on a 6-game road trip for the Hornets. They lost in Los Angeles Friday night. This trip still has to go Seattle, Portland, Golden State, Sacramento.
Now, Greg, we need to take a minute and pat Mike Fratello on the back for the great job of coaching that he's done, because he keeps losing players but keeps finding ways to win. Danny Ferry with the big game-winning shot for him the other night. So Cleveland's right in it, and they're watching this game.
And for the Charlotte Hornets loss today, Cleveland pulls into a tie for first in the Central Division. Charles, with a look at the shot clock, now makes his move. The foul, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. That's 4 on Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson knows he can't say a lot to Greg Willard, the official. Charlotte on top, but danger of losing this afternoon. They've also got a red-hot Indiana team who won this afternoon. They've won 6 in a row now. They're all looking to try to control their destiny, because whoever wins the division wins the number 2 seed and home court advantage.
In and out for Charles. He's 5 for 6 from the line now. Barkley tied right now with Mourning.
Miracle finish is what they had against the Lakers. They were down 6 with 13 seconds to go, and they were able to tie the ball game to force the OT. But they are down 10 now, so they need to strike quickly and then get the ball to either Hersey Hawkins or Del Curry.
Curry
said he got fouled.
Thought he got bumped.
Anytime you're trying to mount a comeback, you got to have a lot of luck, and all of the breaks go your way. And the Hornets, they have just teased themselves and our audience this afternoon. Bogues wide open.
And that'll put the cap on a bad day for Muggsy. Charles Barkley on his way to the locker room. 24 points to lead all scorers at this point.
Now, the jumper that Barkley made spelled relief for Paul Westphal, and he figures he's got enough now, and they're going to close it out. Alonzo Mourning coming out of the ball game, and Michael Adams comes in.
What do you think? Is that golf game still a possibility for Charles this afternoon?
Now I think he's through.
Let's check in with Hannah Storm once again. Hannah.
Well, Greg, to wrap up a fine afternoon for the Phoenix Suns, Joe Klein couldn't make it to the game today because his wife has just delivered a baby girl by the name of Mallory Catherine, 8 pounds, 15 ounces. Could be a ball player. Who knows? Greg?
All right, Hannah, our congratulations to Joe and Stan.
Dale Curry, who was not happy with the non-call, earned himself a technical from Ed Rush. He kept talking the entire time. Now he's looking in Rush's...
We had numerous reports of 50, 60